With so many of us suddenly needing to run online meetings, in today's episode, we're going to cover our top 3 tips for facilitating online meetings.
The first tip is that if you're already a facilitator, then you've got experience facilitating traditional face-to-face meetings. You can use many of those tools from your existing toolkit to help you facilitate online. In fact, I've heard someone say just recently that they consider web meetings to still be face-to-face meetings, as you can still see each other's faces. So perhaps it's all about our mindset. You can still run it like a workshop, break people into small groups to discuss questions and ideas, do an ORAD, or do a think, pair, share online. There may be some tweaks, but hey, you can definitely facilitate online if you've already facilitated in person. So relax and give it a go.
The second tip is that you'll need to adjust the tools for the online environment. There's 3 things to remember here. The first is that timing needs to be different when you're working online. In person, you usually work with time slots of 20 to 30 minutes, making sure that you have some different forms of interaction during that time. However, when it comes to the online environment, you have to drastically cut back the length of these time slots. People just can't spend as long concentrating online. It's more like 10-minute slots, making sure there's interaction during that time.
That's right, Denise. And the second thing to remember when adjusting tools for online is that you'll need to be more directive than you'd be in person. I'm a huge fan of using silence in person, but online it's a bit different. We've all been on a video call when someone asks a question, there's silence, and then 3 people all talk at once. Online, you need to check in more with people. In a small group, simply go around and ask people by name if they have any questions or comments. In a larger group, ask questions and get people using the chat box or some other online tool for feedback.
The final thing to remember when adjusting facilitation tools for an online environment is to make good use of online tools. Do you want to set up a flip chart online? Then get people to type into the chat box or into a shared Google Doc. Want to do a sticky wall? Then use Jamboard. Want to check in on how people are doing in a larger meeting or over time in a smaller meeting? Then set up a poll. There are a huge number of online tools that can complement your facilitated toolkit. Use them.
The third tip we have is practice, practice, practice. There's no substitute for practicing online. Just have a go. Take any small or large opportunity to facilitate online and then take the time to reflect on it afterwards and work out what you might add, remove, or change in some way. Attend other people's online workshops, and when you're in a small breakout group, take on the role of facilitating. Practice, practice, practice.
Another option is to grab a couple of colleagues, find 30 minutes that works for you all, and jump online. Practice running a short session, practice putting people into breakout rooms, practice doing a poll, play with the platform you're using and get used to it with some colleagues that'll give you some constructive feedback and support. Then swap around so you get to experience it from the attendee's perspective. Another great idea is to ask a colleague to be your co-host when you facilitate online the first couple of times. They can make sure people are muted, monitor the chat box, and generally provide support when needed. So just have a go.
So folks, you've heard our top 3 tips for facilitating online. Now we'd like to hear yours. Add a comment below this episode and tell us about your experiences, including any online tools you use and how you've adapted your approaches so they work effectively in an online environment. We don't want this just to be a one-way conversation. Join in by sharing your thoughts and ideas with us.
Thanks for joining us on this Enablers of Change episode. Remember to subscribe if you'd like to know when new episodes are available. And if you liked what you heard, then please tell a friend so they can join in the conversation. All the best until we meet again.